Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 has a surprisingly high body count, with casualties numbering in the thousands. Although Captain Christopher Pike Anson Mount and the USS Enterprise's crew enjoyed a great deal of wacky hijinks, death was inescapable for them. From the romantic absurdity of Wedding Bell Blues, to the comedic farce of 4.5 Falcons, to Lieutenant Spock Ethan Peck dancing with Lieutenant Lon Noonien Singh Christina Chong, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3's reputation is not copious amounts of death. Yet only 2 Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 episodes, Wedding Bell Blues and 4.5 Falcons, lacked deaths, while one episode had a body count reaching thousands. Here's who died in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. In the process, they killed many Gorn with phaser fire. While it's not clear how many Gorn the Starfleet officers took out as they fled towards a shuttle, the most notable was the Gorn who nearly killed Lieutenant Ortegas. Lon executed that Gorn at point-blank range with her phaser rifle. Erica lost a great deal of blood flying the Gorn shuttle back to the Starship Enterprise, but she survived. Captain Pike and Dr. M'Benga flew a shuttle into Kenfori, a planet teeming with death, in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 3. Pike and M'Benga were on the hunt for a Chimera Blossom, a rare plant that could turn Captain Battle into a hybrid human/Gorn to save her life. Little did M'Benga and Pike know they were walking into an abandoned Federation lab that created zombies, including zombie Klingons. Only Captain Pike and Dr. M'Benga survived their ordeal on Kenfori. Bitha and her minions were consumed by the Klingon zombies, with Bitha sacrificing herself so that the Starfleet officers could escape to the Starship Enterprise. Technically, no one actually died in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 4, A Space Adventure Hour. Since the murder mystery Lieutenant Lon Noonien Singh solved as her detective character, Amelia Moon, was on the holodeck. Although safety protocols were disabled, no one real died in the holodeck, thankfully. Lon investigated the murder of Hollywood studio head Tony Hart, and the suspects included the producers and cast of the cancelled sci-fi series, The Last Frontier. As Lon chased the culprit, 3 more suspects were offed: actor Lee Wood's Melissa Navia, producer Sonny Lupino Rebecca Remine, and super agent Joni Gloss Celia Rose Gooding. The murderer was revealed to be Lieutenant Spock, who was a hologram and part of the program. The first casualty of Through the Lens of Time was Anjal Ishmoris, who was the Macroon liaison to Starfleet. Anjal was killed by the Temple's defenses when he realized what evil was being held inside, and he tried to escape. Thankfully, the intelligent problem-solving by Nurse Chapel's team spared them the same fate as Anjal. Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds arrived with a breezy confidence fans have come to love. Its blend of optimism, danger, and emotional sincerity intact. But beneath that golden Enterprise glow, the season quietly constructed one of the darkest death tolls the franchise has seen in years. It wasn't a season advertised around tragedy, nor did it rely on the shock value deaths that streaming science fiction so often leans on. Those deaths were big. They were dramatic. They were designed to be seen. But Strange New Worlds has always been a show that honors the everyday people who keep Starfleet running: the ensigns at the stations, the engineers in the docks, the medics pulling impossible hours in sickbay. And that's exactly why Season 3's quieter deaths hit harder on reflection. We didn't just lose notable characters. We lost a sense of security aboard the Enterprise itself. Episode 2. The shuttle crew nobody talked about. One of the most overlooked tragedies occurred in Episode 2 when a routine shuttle survey went dark over an uncharted moon. Pike ordered a retrieval team, but by the time the Enterprise made orbit, it was too late. The shuttle had been crushed by a gravitational anomaly, with all hands lost. It was treated as a 1-minute briefing room update, a tragic but operational event in classic Starfleet fashion. But the loss of those 3 junior officers, Ortiz, Jalla, and Francis, quietly shaped the tone of the season. They weren't redshirts sacrificed for spectacle. They were professionals doing their job. and the randomness of their deaths reminded viewers that exploration always carries a cost. In many ways, this moment was Season 3's first emotional fracture line. Episode 4. The colony you weren't supposed to count. Episode 4's harrowing rescue mission on the frontier colony of Halidon I brought one of the season's most haunting sequences. The Enterprise crew could save only half the settlers before the ion storm swallowed the outpost. The episode offered heroic imagery, Spock boosting the transporter buffer, Chapel defying medical protocols, Pike refusing to abandon hope. But even their miracles had limits. The closing shot of the storm consuming the colony buildings was a metaphor for the Federation's imperfections. Hundreds died, yet the script quietly sidestepped the scale of the loss. It wasn't until Uhura's strained log entry at the end that the full weight of it became clear. This wasn't an isolated tragedy. It was part of a pattern. The Gorn return, and so do the casualties. Season 3 didn't need to show us every Gorn attack to make their presence felt. When a Federation listening post near Gorn-claimed space went silent in Episode 6, the Enterprise found nothing but debris. No survivors. No escape pods. Just fragments of a station that once housed 29 crew members. This wasn't dramatized with mournful music or lingering camera work. Instead, SNW treated it as grim, matter-of-fact intelligence. The Gorn were expanding, adapting, watching. The horror grew precisely because the episode didn't sensationalize the deaths. The Gorn don't kill for shock value. They simply kill, and that quiet realism made the loss even more chilling. The casualties of diplomacy. One of Season 3's strongest threads involved the political maneuvering surrounding the nascent war with the Gorn and the Federation's attempts to keep its many member worlds aligned. Episode 7's diplomatic summit was full of intrigue, but many fans missed the subtle revelation in Pike's after-action report. 2 Starfleet security officers died off-screen protecting the Rigelian ambassador during an attempted breach. It wasn't a major plot beat, but it was world-building that emphasized the Federation's escalating instability. Peace has always been the Federation's ethos, but Season 3 reminded us that peace is fragile and often defended by people whose names may never be spoken on the bridge. A season defined by loss. Even when characters survive, some of Season 3's deaths weren't physical. They were spiritual or symbolic. La'an's resignation after the events of Episode 8 forced her to confront an impossible ethical crossroads, felt like the death of her Starfleet identity. She didn't die, but a version of her did. Similarly, Spock's near-fatal confrontation with his own genetic destiny in Episode 5 felt like a metaphoric death, a dismantling of certainty, a rebirth through crisis. These arcs were emotional losses, deeply tied to personal identity. They didn't increase the season's literal body count, but they amplified the atmosphere of fragility, making the Enterprise feel more vulnerable than ever before. The season finale. A sacrifice that broke the crew. Season 3's finale brought the death most fans can name. The senior officer who sacrificed themselves to save both the Enterprise and a civilian freighter caught in Gorn assault formations. The scene was heart-wrenching, masterfully acted, a culmination of 3 years' worth of subtle character work. Their death was meaningful. It changed the crew. It changed Pike. It changed the direction of the show. But the final moments of the finale, with Pike reviewing the casualties across the fleet, told a wider truth. The Federation didn't lose one hero. It lost hundreds. The lingering shot of Pike staring at the scrolling casualty list was the most sobering moment of the season. It connected every overlooked death, from shuttle crews to colonies to diplomats to listening posts, and made the season's quiet thesis unmistakable. Exploration has a cost. Freedom has a cost. Survival has a cost. And Season 3, more than any season before it, forced the Enterprise to confront those costs directly. Why the death toll matters. Star Trek has always walked a balancing act between hope and realism. Strange New Worlds, especially in its first 2 seasons, emphasized the joy of discovery, the optimism of unity, and the comfort of a close-knit bridge crew. But Season 3 challenged that formula. It asked, what holds the Federation together when idealism isn't enough? It reminded viewers that Starfleet officers aren't superheroes. They're people who knowingly step into danger in service of a better galaxy. And most importantly, It positioned the Enterprise crew not as untouchable icons, but as individuals surrounded by loss, working harder than ever to prevent more. A season of shadows. And what comes next? Looking back, Season 3 wasn't just darker. It was maturing. The unspoken deaths, the off-screen tragedies, the abrupt collisions between diplomacy and violence, they all signaled a turning of the tide. The stakes have shifted. The tone has deepened. The galaxy has changed. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.